Welcome to my review of the Sennheiser HD560S. It's quite a new headphone in the Sennheiser lineup, and it's advertised as a reference headphone, but is also used by a lot of people as their daily driver. So, for example, for listening to music and for gaming. So, does it get the job done? Let's see. So let's start with build quality. Like a lot of Sennheiser headphones, especially in the cheaper lineup, this one is made mostly from plastic too. Still, the plastic Sennheiser uses is pretty high quality. I don't know what they do with their material, but it feels quite sturdy. I have the HD58X here, which is kind of belonging into their 6 lineup, while this is like a 5er lineup. And you feel the difference, like the 58X, the 600, 650, and so on. They feel they feel more high quality build wise, but still, this is really good. And also, this thing already fell down like 3 times, and I don't even see scratch on it, and it's like it's really, really sturdy. But the reason it fell down is this stupidly long cable. If you have read or watched other reviews, I bet you have seen it. But it's like, I think it's a few meters, like 3 meters long, or it's just awful. Like, I know it's made for professional use, so I guess it's for like being in the studio and being not around your amplification and so on, so you may need this cable. But for me, using it and on my computer, it's just so. If you buy the 560S, you should include like a aftermarket cable. Otherwise, it has a really clean look. The grill is obviously belonging into the 500 lineup. Like, you can see the similarities with the 599 and so on. And the matte plastic feels pretty good. It's not like it's attracting like a lot of fingerprints or anything. Just a really clean looking headphone. Also, as usual, your sliders are reinforced with metal. I don't think the headband or like anything here will break soon. If you ever wore a Sennheiser headphone, you already have like kind of an idea of the comfort level of the HD 560S. I found them to be really, really comfortable. The ear cups are, like as usual, oval shaped and pretty big, so they should be okay with most ears, head shapes, and sizes. Also, you can extend the sliders quite a while and also turn them quite a lot. Like, you can turn them back in so they will fit for smaller heads, which is kind of a big plus because a lot of headphones nowadays are you need kind of an average sized head for them to at least fit okay. So I always liked Sennheiser headphones for that matter. Sennheiser always uses some kind of velour or soft fabric padding, and I think it's great. The padding is soft, but it's still pretty firm. I think it feels great on your skin. It's not itchy or something. Also, it does not accumulate dust or dirt that fast, which is always a problem with these different kind of fabric, velour, whatever paddings like the Fidelios. They are awful in that matter. The thing that turns off or could turn off some people from this headphone is the clamping force. It's quite high out of the box. I have never felt any discomfort, and it does get weaker over time, like over a few weeks or maybe over 1.5 months, continuously wearing them. For me, the padding does a great job in making the clamping force not as noticeable. So that's like a personal decision of yourself. Maybe if you're sensitive about clamping force, you should put them on a headphone stand and let them stay there for a month. But yeah, for me, it wasn't bad. The headband uses the same type of padding and feels fine for me. I don't have any hotspots or pressure, especially because of the plastic construction. It's really, really light. Sound-wise, I feel like the Sennheiser HD560S are a mix of the kind of typical mid-range centric Sennheiser house sound, but with a bigger emphasis on the high frequencies and better extended bass than, for example, the 600 series. Sennheiser calls it a reference grade headphone, and I guess with its like neutral analytic sound profile, it's certainly good for studio use and for mixing and everything. To be honest, most people call it like kind of dead neutral, which more or less translates to boring. But to me, it sounds like a more fun version of a neutral headphone, like because of the more extended bass, it's a lot punchier than the typical, like for example, the AKG 701 is kind of what I would describe as more like boring neutral. So the HD560S is certainly better in this regard. So let's start with the bass. Like I said, it's way better extended than other neutral headphones, even in the Sennheiser lineup, like for example the HG600 or 650. It's pretty present and it rolls off like later than these popular neutral headphones. And I would rather call the HD560S like neutral in the bass because it's actually there. Like with the 600, yeah, of course you can hear like some kind of bass frequency, but it rolls off like pretty fast. And I think the HD560S offers like a better perspective on like a kind of neutral bass. Like it's not emphasized, or it's like it's certainly not a strong or bass or whatever, but you can judge the bass of a song better with the HD560S, I would say, than with other neutral headphones. But all of this makes the bass like really tight and non-intrusive. It can get a bit thin, but I guess that's what you get for buying a neutral headphone with a analytic kind of bright sound profile. The mid-range is also like really great on this one. Like everything has body and does not sound plasticky. Everything is like really present, like guitars, voices, instrument. It's just really there. And it does sound more forward, and I guess voices, everything can get a bit shouty, but I like that. It's just like really like a presence of everything. Nothing sounds like distant, I don't know, maybe passive or calm. Everything is just so like there, and it sounds like more aggressive and I guess immersive. But all in all, the mid-range is pretty flat and just tuned really well. Talking about the high frequency range, we're kind of getting into the territory where people tend to not like these that much anymore. The highs are boosted quite a bit and are kind of peaky. I have to say I like the treble emphasis here. It's like way below, for example, the biodynamic 990 or even 880. And I do not hear any sibilance. The stronger treble is kind of supported by the slight shoutiness, and this gives the HG560S like a really clear and energetic sound. And I don't think they are too fatiguing. I guess there is some kind of harshness in this kind of peaky high frequency range. And yeah, kinda after a while you have to, oh, maybe I need to like EQ a bit more, like bass, and turn the high frequencies a bit down. So it's just not, but that really depends on your own tolerance for treble. For its price, I would say it's pretty good in showing detail and everything. It's not like a monster detail headphone, although I it's kind of difficult for me to really judge that. Like, I can hear everything pretty clearly, so it's detailed enough, I guess. I think there are headphones who do it better, but you have to remember this is like 150, 200 euro. And for that price range, it's like really, really good. I can separate instruments pretty well, or everything that's just going on in the music. Although I feel like it kind of gets overwhelmed if there's a lot of stuff playing. So there's like a certain level to which the HD 560S is like capable of being really detailed. Soundstage is another thing where people are kind of divided. It's not that wide, it's like pretty average, but it kind of contributes to the sound. Like things sound separated, but they are never like detached from each other, and everything just sounds like cohesive. I mean, it certainly has a wider sound stage than the other, like the HD 600 or 650, and it certainly has a good sounding soundstage. I can also pinpoint stuff pretty easily, I feel like, but it does not have like a lot of depth. Also, another thing that's really cool about it, it does not sound blobby like at all. I can hear things like in between left, center, right, and not just like in the three directions. So again, soundstage is done pretty well. It's just not huge or deep. It supports the kind of cohesive, detailed sound that this headphone, I guess, tries to deliver. At last, you can plug them directly into your computer, which is a pretty good thing if you don't have like an amp at hand. Although I did notice an audible difference between plugging it directly into my motherboard versus my budget amp. It did sound like a little less refined and more sharp and just not as good as with a dedicated amplifier. So in conclusion, if you want a neutral sounding headphone for a pretty decent price, I would definitely prefer the HD 560S over the 880 from Biodynamic, for example, or the K701 from AKG. The bass quality and quantity alone sounds better to me than in these other headphones. The mid-range and the high frequencies, um, while staying neutral, just retain like a certain energy. And while it does not have like the widest or the deepest soundstage, you can actually use the soundstage around yourself and listen to music while not like dying of boredom or feeling like a needles piece your eardrums. So I would certainly recommend these. So that was my review of the Sennheiser HD 560S. I hope I could be of use and a little helpful in your decision to buy these or not to buy these. See you next time.